Let's turn our attention to flat racing, because obviously we've had the classic clues at Newmarket and Newbury, and they were very interesting indeed. So let's talk about the 2,000 guineas first, before the lads give us their view of what it all means. Let's get the latest betting from Paddy Power.
Well, Bruce, we were 11-4 best price Gustav Klimt. That has just gone now. We're 5-2 him now. Then we go 9-2 Saxon Warrior, 5 Massar, who was so impressive at the Craven meeting, 6 Alarcam, and then it's 14 bar, including the likes of Expert Eye, who was beaten in the Greenham.
Okay, well, last week was dismal for me because I backed Verbal Dexterity for the Guineas. I backed Amerigo Modigliani for the Derby, and we had to run stories saying that they're both out. So I need some new classic ammo. Watsy, what have we got for the 2,000 guineas now?
Well, first of all, going back to the Craven, Bruce, my view on that was that Massar maybe isn't quite as good as he looked, and Roaring Lion not so bad as he looked then. Roaring Lion was 80% fit, according to John Gosden. And I was interested in looking at this because I looked back to Raven's passes year, because he also was trained by John Gosden, went to the Craven. He got beaten in his first few starts that season, got beaten in the Guineas, but he ended up being a really good horse. He won the Breeders' Cup Classic, he won the QE2, so he came good. And that's my point about Roaring Lion. If you're on him before and you're really upset, disappointed by the outcome, like I said, he was 80% fit. This is a trial. He will come on for the race, and I don't expect there to be that much between Massar and Roaring Lion next time out.
Can't turn that around though, can he?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Really?
I wouldn't be surprised. Massar was hard fit. Charlie Appleby admitted that. He'd had a run in the desert. He was a good 2-year-old. He wasn't a fantastic one. He got beaten a couple of times in the Chesham and the Lagardère, so he's obviously made a good step forward. I think Roaring Lion is still, if John Gosden sends him to the race and they get a decent gallop, I still wouldn't put it past him to finish in the frame and end up still being a really good horse. If you're asking me what I'm going to bet or what I think is going to win at the moment, I think probably Gustav Klimt, because, yeah, it's not Aidan's normal MO to get a run into his 2,000 guineas horses where he really fancies one, but because he had that long lag, because he was off in the second half of last season, I think he had to with this horse. So, although it's slightly different to what he normally does, I think Gustav Klimt has a very good chance. Okay, Tom, you nailed that nice winner on Massar. Would you expect Massar to confirm form with Roaring Lion in the big one?
Yep, absolutely. I'm just staggered that he's not favourite.
Really?
Myself. Yeah,
you think he should be fav?
Well, I do, yeah. I mean, you look at what Gustav Klimt did. He beat 2 stablemates and a horse trained by Dermot Weld who's rated 98 by about half a length. And he's 5-2. You might have a horse that's won the Craven by 9 lengths, beating horses rated much higher. Lots of decent horses in there. And we were talking, what is he, 5-1? I don't understand the prices. Well,
I mean, it's obviously down to one thing, isn't it? Yeah. Aidan O'Brien.
Yeah, but it's simply, what price would Massar be if he was trained by... Now, I hate those questions because he's not trained by Aidan O'Brien. But the point is, Charlie Appleby has won more Group 1 races since, across the world than nearly anyone in the last 6 months or whatever. He's clearly a tremendously good trainer. He's massively improved. I cannot work out why he's 5-1. I really can't. When you watch a trial, that's what you want to see. I mean, I get the Roaring Lion thing. John Gosden doesn't win guineas very, very often. I think he's won one. It was with a filly called Lahan many years ago, and she was lapped in a trial beforehand as well.
Well, that's encouraging then.
Correct. So I get where Watsy's coming with the Roaring Lion will improve, but it's only 2 weeks away, and I'm not having the 80% fit business. No one runs a horse 2 weeks before the Guinea's 80% fit. That can't be true. That just cannot be true. He might think she's an 80% fit conditioning wise, but he should have run an awful lot better than he did. It's massive guesswork involved with him. I see some huge price on the exchanges. I know that horse is. I mean, for me, I've ruled him out now. And anyway, much as I loved the Racing Post Trophy form, I thought it was the best 2-year-old race of the year last year. We've already had the second beaten 10 lengths in its trial. We've had the third, the Pentagon, beaten 10 lengths in the trial. Not quite convinced it's as good as it was in terms of form. So for me, I like Massar of those. I'm still a big fan of Mark Johnson's horse, LR Cam. But I think there's every chance that something else will come out of the woodwork. There might be something in there that we haven't even thought out yet. I think it's totally wide open.
I agree with you, that thing about, if he was trained by someone else. He's trained by a great trainer, and that's factored in, isn't it? The other one I don't like is where people say, if he was yours, what would you do with him? Well, I can't even afford to keep a guinea pig, let alone a classic racehorse. So what does it matter what I do? But you'd be all over Massar. A quick word, Tom, on James Garfield. He's a lovely horse, isn't he? I mean, you know, there's obviously that huge drift on Expert Eye. What can James Garfield achieve this season?
Is he going to stay? That's my problem with him. He looks quite a quick horse to me. I mean, he might do. He might. I mean, I'm a big pedigrees man, Bruce, as you know, and I thought that the Greenham was full of horses that were sort of iffy stayers, iffy top class horses. He did well to win, and he's clearly a good horse. But whether he'll win a Guineas, I'd be surprised.
What might his greatest moment be? If we look back then, yeah.
I think Jersey Stakes might be his race. Okay. Something like that at Ascot. I think Ascot should suit him. I think something like that might be his métier, something like that.
Paul Binfield, what's your idea of the 2,000 Guineas winner?
Well, I think Expert Eye will definitely turn the form around with James Garfield. Bruce, we pushed him out to 16 from 10 on Saturday, but I was happy with the horse. He had no problems with the stalls. He pulled a bit hard early, but Sir Michael Stout is the expert at bringing these horses on. He's described him as a class horse, and I personally think...
85 winners. 3 winners from 85. Michael Stout, the great experts, 3 from 85 in the last something like 3 or 4. His horses just aren't running very well. I mean, I don't care what anyone says. 10 years ago, I would have agreed with you.
Well, anyway, listen, it's great to agree.
You've wilted, Binners. You've wilted. Come on, man. Stand up for yourself. Come back with something.
Well, I tell you what. I personally think Expert Eye will be the horse that is backed over the next 2 weeks, and I expect him to go off far shorter than 16 to 1, Bruce.
Good man. That's better. You got some win in your sails later on there. Okay, 1,000 Guineas, Binners. What's the latest betting from Paddy Power?
Well, we're struggling a bit here at Dublin Airport, Bruce. If you give me 1 minute,
okay.
Just trying to log back in here.
Well, I hope you didn't back Voracious, Bruce, to go with the other ones.
I know that's gone as well, isn't it? No, I'm done with anti-post betting. It's just one disappointment after another. Honestly, I don't know why I got involved after Mellon anyway. But anyway, it's all been.
Oh my God, we're not back to Mellon, are we?
Yeah, and I still can't get over it, Tom. Just cannot get over. I can't move on. Go on. What have we got then, Binners?
Yeah, we're back in business now, Bruce. 7-2 happily. 6 to 1 September, 8 to 1 Clemmy, who looked unlikely, 10 Wild Illusion and I Can Fly, along with Soliloquy, who won at Newmarket last week, needs supplementing, and it's 14 to 1 Lauren.
You sounded just like one of those old racecourse bookmates. 7-2. Right, Watsy, what do you like in the 1,000 Guineas?
I think it's a bit of a mess at the moment, Bruce, and obviously the news about Voracious this morning just added to that. It doesn't look as though Clemmy's going to make it. Soliloquy looked okay last week. On a general level, it's really good to see Godolphin come back and have even talked about contenders for the early classics. That's been absent for a few years now. I think I was on a show with Tom last week, and you made a very persuasive case for I Can Fly coming on strongly from her Leopardstown return. And you know, we were talking about the way Aidan trains his horses and they come on from race to race to race. And she could be one that comes on massively for that and end up being the, the main contender from that camp. So, yeah, I can see where Tom's coming from with that. And at 10 to 1, I think Paul said she was. I think she's very interesting in that price.
So you believe I Can Fly can win, yeah? Okay, Tom, who do you believe will win the Guineas?
I like I Can Fly from the trials. I thought... Keels' horse, Dan's Dream, was perfectly impressive. She's got to be supplemented, so I think she's got a bit to find. I thought if the two races at Newmarket during the week, I thought Soliloquy was good, only her third ever run. That was really impressive. I thought the second horse, Out in Order for Roger Varian, stayed on well. I think she'll be better over a mile. And I was, funnily enough, I thought the winner of the free handicap, Anna Nerium, was incredibly impressive, and everyone sort of dissed her because she was a big price, 25 to 1. She's a very well-bred filly. She's by Dubawi. She won a recognised trial, the free handicap, by 3 lengths, and she would have won by 5 lengths in another furlong. I was surprised that no one liked her to run into the frame. I really don't see why not. I thought her performance in the free handicap was as good as Soliloquy's, and yet she's 25 to 1 and Soliloquy's 10s.
All that money your parents spent on your education, you can't pronounce it. It's Soliloquy.
Oh, did it? Oh, yeah, that is. Oh, God, I hope they don't hear this. They'll kill me.
You know what a soliloquy is, don't you?
I do, yeah.
It's a long solo speech, isn't it?
Yeah.
Play. Okay,
it's just
right.
Basically just what I did.
Give me one. Give me one for the horse tracker that came onto your radar over the weekend. We'll start with you, Binners.
I am going to go for Defoe, Bruce. Really enjoyed his win at Newbury in the John Porter Stakes. Roger Varian, trained by the professional Michael Jarvis. We put the winner in at 5-1 for the Tattersalls Gold Cup. If he turns up, I think that'll be a generous sort of price. He wouldn't want too fast to ground, but very versatile over 10 to 12 furlongs this season. So looking forward to him.
Defoe for Binners. Who for you, Thomas?
Horse that ran at Navan yesterday, Bruce, in the committed stakes, the listed race, Speak in Colours. First run for Joseph O'Brien. Very unlucky not to win. Think just couldn't quite catch one of Adrian Keatley's the Brogy man by a short head. He beat the 3 Aidan O'Brien horses. I think he's going to be a good horse going forward, but I wouldn't rule out Sioux Nation, who I think is being aimed at the Commonwealth Cup later in the season. He's a big, massive horse who was slowly away yesterday. He had a Group 1 penalty as well. The ground was wrong, but he kept on really well. So for me, that was a very interesting race, that race at Navan, and I'd keep Speaking Colours and Sioux Nation very much to the head of my very well-used tracking system.
Noted, Tom. Who's going to go into my tracker from your great brain, Mr. Watts?
One for the flat, Young Rascal. I thought won a maiden really nicely at Newbury at the weekend over a mile and 3. William Haggar's horse. I think he might go for a trial somewhere for the Derby to see if he's good enough. Maybe he could be one for the Lingfield Derby trial, something like that, or maybe Chester. If you wanted a much longer term one, Dingo Dollar gave a really great sight in the novice handicap chase at Ayr at the weekend. Loves good ground, and he's one to put in the tracker for next season. He's definitely a national horse for the future.
Okay.
Hey, what about Ballyoptic, boys? Might he win the Grand National next year?
Suppose he could, couldn't he? Yeah.
I thought he was really impressive. I thought he doesn't like Cheltenham. That's the key to him. Just doesn't like Cheltenham. So forget all his Cheltenham form, and he's just basically top class around anywhere else.
Yeah, no, very good. Good horse. Ed Quigley, our man Ed Quigley, absolutely loves Ballyoptic, and I hope he's kept the faith because he discovered him. Okay, finally, it's officially the end of the flat season on Saturday.
Jumps.
And the jumps even, yeah, good point. Flat, jumps, whatever. And the big race, of course, is the Bet365 Gold Cup. Always not formally known as the Whitbread, but currently and forevermore known as the Whitbread. What's the latest betting on that one from Paul Binfield?
9 Missed Approach, Bruce. 10 Black Lion, Miss Parfois, Rock the Casbah. 12 Ballyoptic, Big Bad John, Regal Flow, Sizing Tennessee, and it's 14 the rest.
And who's going to win this?
I think Mr. Proach has got a good chance. Yeah, he won nicely at Cheltenham last time out. Obviously, he beat a big gamble in Maldini. And you go back to his form in the 4-miler at Cheltenham last season, he was only 3 lengths behind Tiger Roll. So obviously that looks very good now. Warren Greatrex has kind of kept him away from Aintree, hasn't run him since Cheltenham. So I think he's a worthy favourite. My old friend Blackline might go again. Didn't get any luck in the National, got brought down. Wouldn't be surprised to see a big run from him. So, you know, it's kind of, we're at that stage of the season in the jumps. It's not, I like to try and find something at a big price, you know, because a lot of these horses have gone over the top, but there's nothing of those kind of prices that appeals to me this time. I think it could be one for Mr. Proach.
Tom?
What about Step Back? He's going to be about 20-1, 14-1, something like that. He's a horse trained by Mark Bradstock of Coney fame. He was 3rd in a race at Sandown not long ago on soft ground, but he came out last time at Faken and won by 20 lengths. He just looks like the type of horse that's getting better, and what he is going to do is relish the step up in trip. So at the moment, he's number 52 on the list, but he's got a long way to go to get in, but there's so many up the top there that ran on Saturday. He might well get in, and if he gets in, I'd be very interested in him Step Back. Interesting.
Binners, who's your idea of the winner?
Well, Bruce, it took me ages to come up with a selection for this. I was looking through it, and everything seemed to have run at Ayr on Saturday, and I couldn't work it out. Then I went to Klondike for David Pipe, 14-1, and then your great newspaper today reported that he will run wherever it's soft on Saturday. So I imagine that may well be Punchestown, but listen, if he turns up at Sandown, I think he's got a great chance. He was impressive in the Mandarin, but equally, if he turns up at Punchestown, back him there anyway.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Binfield. Thanks, Tom, and thanks, Nick. Quickly before we go, I want to get your highlights of the jump season. I'm gonna throw you a horrible curveball because I'm gonna bag the one that you all wanted to say. It was that memorable Gold Cup, Might Bite and Native River. I thought it was just one of the great horse races that I have ever seen. Loved the way Mike Bite came back out and won at Aintree. So that is the highlight for me. Watsy?
Yeah, I'd have to be Altior in a champion chase. I actually backed Min in that race and all the way through, particularly turning for home. I thought I got this one, got it taped, but he pulled Altior out on that turn of foot he showed on horrible, dirty ground was just unbelievable in the matter of strides. You know, my time was up and Min was done for, and so Altior, exceptional talent.
Tom, is it you? I can't remember, one of the mega judges in our organisation thinks that Altior's just a 3-miler running at the wrong trip. Is it you or someone else?
I think he'd be even better over further, yeah, definitely. I don't think I've ever seen a horse sprint up that Cheltenham Hill faster than he does. He looks beat, doesn't he? I mean, you boys would have seen him in the Arkle last year and in the Champion Chase this year, where I thought, oh my God, he's beat, and then he ends up winning by 10 lengths. I don't think I've ever seen a horse go up that. I mean, I'd love to see him have a crack at further and see what happens. I mean, when you win the Champion Chase by 10 lengths, there's no need to move, but I'd give him a shot. Yeah. As for my highlight, Bruce, I love the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Love it every year. It's my favourite race of the year. It's the start of the Cheltenham Festival. Very frustrating this year with Kalashnikov just getting beaten, but I thought the two of them, it was nice to see a different set of owners, trainers, jockeys all in the finish there. I loved it. I thought Somerville Boy and Kalashnikov, brilliant race.
I've actually backed Somerville Boy for the Champion Hurdle next year, but my concern is that he absolutely has to have it really soft.
Could do, but no, I can't see why not.
I just thought 16s was big. I mean, it's a weak division at the moment, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah.
Okay, and Paul, what was your highlight?
Well, Bruce, I don't even work for you, and I think it was the greatest Gold Cup I've ever seen. But I'm going to go for Waiting Patiently, winning the Ascot Chase. It was just such a marvellous battle with the very popular Q card. It was a very poignant win for Ruth Jefferson, following the sad death of her highly popular father, Malcolm. And it was just a huge, great race.
What a great shout and a great way to end the postcast. Well done, Binners. Well done, lads. Thank you very much indeed. Don't forget, daily postcasts from Punchestown all week. If you enjoy these shows, make sure you rate, review and subscribe on iTunes.
Get your hooves into this cracking offer from Paddy Power. It's money back as a free bet on all losers if the starting price favourite wins on at least one race every day of the Punchestown Festival. Find out each day's race online at paddypower.com. Max free bet £10. T's and C's apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.